Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is day 5 of our December 2023 Advent calendar. Yesterday we went ahead and built up some trees as you see here, and the day before that we took a look at this flower farm design. Today we're going to be looking at this fully automatic sniffer farm design. Pretty much how this works is there's all your sniffers here in a pen. Go ahead and hop into spectator. Under here, there's a bunch of hopper minecart rails with a hopper minecart below there. So as the sniffers dig up their seeds, this hopper minecart will pick it up. They will get stuck into this dispenser elevator. All the items will automatically get dispensed up into this barrel via that redstone down there. And then once you're up here in this area, you can just kind of chill. There's not anything super useful in here. This is just like decorational areas. This is where your seeds will go. This is random storage. This doorway right here, do not worry, the sniffers cannot actually get through this. They're too big because of the trapdoors. However, any baby sniffers will be able to get through there. So don't put in any baby sniffers, wait for them to grow up. Or put in your eggs, block this doorway, and then once they grow up, put in the trapdoors. And then out this other side, I just have a little bit of a decorational farm / garden area where you can grow the seeds. But of course, you're not required to grow the seeds like that. I went ahead and added a redstone system. So if we go into spectator, behind this door is a whole redstone system back here. Pretty much what happens is you plant the seeds there, everything gets bone mealed automatically, and then this fence gate will pop out, breaking the plant. And when it retracts, you'll place another one, and it will repeat, and you'll just farm them all. And in order to turn this on, all you have to do is open the door. Because this observer down here activates it. And upon closing the door, you'll hear that the system stops, and if we go back into spectator, it has all shut down. Now to show you this working, we're going to go ahead and grab some torch flower seeds. Not many, we'll just do 16 of each. And then we'll also grab some pitcher plants. Because the pitcher pods were the one that you had to... This one was a little bit difficult to work into the design. And then we'll go into survival real quick. When you're using this, you want to aim at this bottom corner. And then just hold down your place button, and you'll see they're starting to place. They're going into my hotbar when it gets broken, and I'm immediately placing another one. And then, of course, just like I said, this does work with the pitcher pods. So we'll go ahead and test that right now. And as you see right there, they are fully growing, and you're seeing them pop into my hotbar like so. And then once you're all done, you can just go ahead and close the door. And of course, just like we showed earlier, the whole thing will shut down. And don't worry, I'm going to walk you through how to build all this redstone. I'm also going to walk you through building this whole building and the farm, sniffer pen, all of it. So you can go ahead and build exactly this in your own Minecraft world. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. However, on a quick side note before that, did you know you could place lanterns hanging from a hanging sign? I didn't know this, and I was looking for a way to hang it off the side, and this looks really cool. I found it by accident, and yeah, it's a really neat little trick. So use that as you will. So when it comes to constructing your automatic sniffer farm, we're going to have to start with the frame of the house. To do this, go ahead and grab your mangrove logs and your mangrove wood. Wood is just the log that you craft by taking 4 logs together in your crafting table and just filling those 4 slots. So we're going to go up by 3 logs and then put 1 wood on the top. We're going to come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3 up just like this and put a wood. So you'll end up with this structure right here. Now we're going to go down by 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Remove that 13 and add a pillar with the wood. This will create for a total of 14 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. For some reason I was thinking of 7, 11 there, and after 7 I said 11. And then we're going to go ahead and repeat this on the other side. Bringing these together, adding our wood. Now, what you're going to want to do is add 3 logs just like this on either end. This is going to be for the roof, the way it's going to be sloping. And then finally, all the way down here at the other end, we need an area of 4 by 5. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4. On this 5th block, put a beam, and then remove those 4 temporary blocks, and this is what your little structure should look like. This is the outline for the entire house. And then, of course, your sniffer pen will be on the right side, while the garden will be on the left. So now I'm going to go ahead and put some images up on your screen. You can go ahead and fill in the front, the right, the back, and then finally the left side of this build. So let's go ahead and cut to those. Alright, now that you have the structured outline of your build and all of the basic walls filled in, let's go ahead and add the detail onto the front of the build. To start, we're going to add 3 grass blocks in these locations, surround them by trapdoors, just like so, and then you can put any flower here. I put 3 torch flowers. You can also go ahead and install your windows. If you want to use glass, go for that. But I use a variation of spruce and oak fences to kind of add a shadowed effect to the window in certain locations. Of course, there's only 4 spots where you're going to be needing windows, so it's not like it's that big of a deal anyway. But you can go ahead and add that. Then we're going to go ahead and place a hanging spruce sign on this terracotta block with a lantern hanging off of it below. And finally, we're going to add a spruce door, just like this. So there you go, that is now the front of your build. Now the next part of the build we're going to add is the little bit of a garden on the left side. Now if you don't want this garden, you can just go ahead and skip until we start working on the rest, but I just figured might as well go ahead and do this little detail now before we get into the rest of it. So what I ended up doing is I had some coarse dirt going from the inside flooring, which will be spruce wood, out to the path just to make it seem like there's a bit of dirt tracked in. And then I just used path blocks to go ahead and fill in the rest of this path. Now do note this path does not have to be identical to mine, and you can make this smaller or larger if you please. This is just how I did it and how I intend to do it now. And then you can bring it out as far as you would like. And then once you have that in place, you can go ahead and put down your water buckets and start adding in your farmland as you want it. Now since I'm in creative, I'm just placing farmland. Of course, you in survival will have to actually till your ground. I'm just bringing it up to a certain point here on the end because this is where I intend to have my bit of a wall. And I'm probably going to remove some of this anyway, actually. So maybe I do a little something like that. And then same thing on the other side, just kind of add in your farmland, maybe make a basic little perimeter of where you would like it to go. And then just, yeah, fill it in. Make sure you have your water spaced out enough. You don't want to have too much water, but of course you don't want to have your ground drying up. So just go ahead, spread out your water evenly. And something you might want to do, and something that I'm going to do, is put dirt below. I know I just placed a grass block, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to go away. But like here, where there's 1, 2, 3, 4 farmland, I'll place a water bucket there because water can reach up to 4 blocks away. And then it'll just be in that radius, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this is going to be good all the way up until here. And I can fill all this in. And then here I would need a new bit of water. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put a water bucket here. Go ahead and fill that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then actually, I don't think we'll need another water bucket. No, that should be enough. So now you can go ahead and get rid of your coarse dirt, your water, your path blocks, all of that. Keep your seeds, of course. You're going to need to add those in. Now go ahead and grab your mossy cobblestone and your normal cobblestones. Now to make this wall, I didn't necessarily do anything specific. I just randomly started placing in slabs and walls and fences just until I thought it looked nice. I didn't do anything special here. I'm just randomly placing blocks. However, if you want to follow along and make yours exactly the same as mine, I'm not going to cut the video so that you can do that if you really want to. So if you don't want to make it exactly the same as mine and you don't want to see this part of the video, just go ahead and skip ahead. But I am going to show me doing this so that anybody who doesn't really know what they're doing or want to think or figure out how to do it for themselves, they can just copy what I'm doing exactly. Now do note this is not going to be perfect. Mobs most likely will still be getting over this. Like right here, a mob could very easily just walk over. So I'm not making this impervious or anything to mobs getting over it or through it. I'm just making it because it looks nice and it's going to add a nice little splash of detail. But yeah, like I said, there's no specific pattern to follow or anything, just randomly placing things. Maybe even put some stuff on the farmland if you would like. Of course, it is all up to you. Let's do a mossy thing there. Yeah. Trying to make it as like pointy in random spots as I can. I really like the look and vibe that gives. Provides a lot of extra. It's not even like it's all that immense, but it does add really nice detail. When I see the spikes. They're not even spikes, just you see the walls going up and you're like, ooh, nice. But yeah, it's nothing special. Alright, and there we go. I'm probably going to call it a quits right there. Let's actually add a separate thing there. I like the way that looks. And then we can go ahead and, of course, get rid of all of our stone. Alright, so now we have finished this up. We've got all of our water in. Now it's time to go ahead and add in your plants. When it comes to adding the plants, I like to keep them separated. And what I mean by this is like every other block I'll put one, but I don't want to have a whole bunch right next to each other. I will also try to put the pitcher plants in the back because I think it adds an extra splash of detail. Just kind of having those taller ones in the back, it doesn't make much sense to have them right up in the front if we're thinking about this realistically. And by keeping it like every other block, kind of like I am here, I think it adds a really nice, I'm not even really sure how to describe it, but it adds a cool effect, I think. Just kind of being able to see in between the plants and whatnot. Anyway, now that that step is done, go ahead and grab your spruce trapdoors and just line this wall right here. Now, like I said, a normal mob, like a skeleton or something, will still be able to walk through this, so do be careful. Now, on the other side, let's just go ahead and get this step done with. We can go ahead and add the trapdoors to make that doorway so that your sniffers cannot get out. And then let's go ahead and grab the materials to build the sniffer pen and start working on the redstone below. Alright, so now that we've gotten all the materials to build out the sniffer pen, let's go ahead and actually do it. So what we're going to do for this is a simple little pattern, just like this. As you see, that is one section. And what we're going to do is 5 sections all the way down. Now, of course, the brick pattern on the ground, I'm going to mix it up every here and there with mud brick and granite and normal brick walls, just like the house, adding that variation. Now, what I do recommend you do, though, is rather than doing each section one at a time, that'd be 3, this would be 4, and that'd be 5. Go ahead and actually mark out each pillar and then go ahead and put in the fence blocks and stuff. This way, it just kind of seems to move quicker. You're not really thinking as much, you're just placing things. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite end here. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. On this side of the house, the wall is supposed to be moved in by one more. Alright, so there we go. I have moved that back over. As you see what I mean here, this is where the wall was. It's supposed to be moved in by one more on that side of the house. But now if we go ahead and add these pillars back in, you will see it will be even right there. And then of course, just go ahead and add in your different blocks. Make sure you add your fence gates, and boom, you are done. However, I have to re-add the fence gates on this side since I had to move it. There we go. That is your wall now all done. We can go ahead and clear out the items in my hotbar here and grab the stuff for the next little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some hay bales, a composter, some cauldrons, and some water buckets. We're going to put 2 cauldrons right here as 2 little water troughs for our sniffers, a composter as kind of like a food trout area, and then finally I'm going to add in some hay bales right here, just as some extra food for the sniffy dudes. Then I'm going to get rid of all those items once again, and I'm going to add the outline for our roof. Now I say outline because we're going to not add the very top piece yet with the deep slate, because that'll just make it easier for working on our redstone. But what we're going to do is we're going to just add a strip of stairs across the side like this. And same thing on the other side. Of course, these are all spruce stairs. And then here in the front, we're going to go ahead and add a stair upside down on both ends. Then we're going to grab out our spruce slabs, do one there, and then a stair here, and add in a slab. Then we're going to do a little bit of ramping there, just add some slabs, and what you'll see is it's going to come to a nice rounded point, just like this. And in case you missed that, we're going to do the same thing on the back. So here we are. We're going to do a stair on either end, then a slab, have a stair here, and then a slab here. You're going to put 3 slabs on that top part, 2 here, 1 there, 2 here, and 1 there. And you get the nice outline on your roof. Now the reason we're doing this right now is so that we can finish off the canopy on this side. And we're not adding the deep slate yet, so that it's easier to work on this part of the redstone. Now to go ahead and add this little canopy, go ahead and grab yourself some shovels, a campfire, and some spruce hanging signs. Now the canopy is not all that hard to make. You're just going to take some campfires, go all the way down like this, and make sure you're stopping just before the fence ends on either end. Take your shovels and put out all the campfires, and then have 2 hanging signs, 1 there, and then you can hang it from there, but to make it look like an actual support beam, crouch and place it off the side of the other fence, or not fence, hanging sign. Same thing here, I'm going to crouch and place one coming off of it, and for that very first one, make sure it's coming off of the wall, otherwise it's just going to look like it's hanging from the roof rather than actually supporting the roof. Now you can go ahead and get rid of those items, and that is it for this little section here. Now we can go ahead and work on the redstone that will go below the section, and the redstone interior for the items being sent up into the barrel where you will collect your seeds. Okay, so when it comes to making the rail system for this now, to actually pick up all the seeds from your sniffers, you're going to need to dig a hole the size of the perimeter, just like this, down by 2 blocks. Making sure to also remove these 2 and have a hopper here, because this is going to be where our droppers go to actually get our items up. So we're going to place a hopper going into that and 1 there. Make sure to have a redstone block in this corner. We're going to have 2 powered rails, some normal rails. Doing some quick math, we can figure out that there's a 3-block sensor here. So you can power these rails however you would like. I'm going to use redstone blocks because I'm in creative and it is easier. And then I'm just going to take my powered rails and make strips like this. And this is what it will look like. And then you can just take your normal rail and fill in the rest. Now, after you have all these rails filled in, we are going to move on to the redstone to actually move the items that this will be collecting up into your barrel or chest, whatever you choose to put up above in the house. So here we are, adding in the last row, and then make sure you have a redstone block right there with 2 more powered rails. You can go ahead and slap a minecart with hopper on there, and you will see that it's just going to bounce back and forth. And then, of course, before we go ahead and move on, let's actually add all the grass back. We can't just leave this looking like a barren wasteland. This is an absolute mess. If you leave it like this, you are a menace. And once you have all the grass back in place, we can go ahead and move on to the redstone on the interior. Now, to do this, we are just going to go ahead and dig into the ground. Just a reasonably sized hole, probably about this big. We're not going to end up using all the space, but it's better to have more space than not enough. We're going to take this down 3 blocks. You should end up seeing the hoppers that we placed earlier poking through. There they are. Now where these hoppers are, we're going to go ahead and put 3 droppers. So going ahead and grabbing all these resources here, we have comparators, repeaters, redstone torches, redstone dust. I like to have some normal torches to actually light up my redstone. And then, of course, some droppers, blocks to put your redstone on. I'm using yellow wool. You can use anything. And then the flooring that we're going to use to finish out the house. Now, we're going to add 3 droppers going straight up, just like this, right where the hoppers are. So there's the hopper output, and then 3 droppers, just like so. Now, out the side of this dropper, have a comparator going into a solid block. Out that solid block, a repeater on 1 tick with a solid block there. Now we're going to have redstone dust here. In these 2 locations, we're going to have a comparator going that way and then a comparator going that way. Then we're going to have 2 solid blocks like that and 1 there. Put a redstone dust on this solid block with a redstone torch on that one. Now we're actually going to clear out just a little bit more space, so let's just clear out the rest of this. You're going to have a redstone torch on the back of this solid block, with it going into a repeater, going into another solid block. On top of this, we're going to have a repeater going that way, just like so. We're going to have a redstone dust below, and then a redstone torch on the side of that block, like so. What this is doing is creating a clock. So every time this activates, it will deactivate this repeater, which will activate this clock. And to do this, by doing this, it will flush out these droppers every single time. If you don't have this little clock system, you will end up with items stuck in your droppers, and there will always be something in there. But by adding this clock, that will not happen. Now what we're going to do is add a redstone dust coming away from that torch on your clock, and then finally a repeater on 1 tick going into this block here with this redstone torch on it. Now when your floor is in, it will be here, and this is going to power all 3 droppers. This is activating the system over here, going into a pulse extender, keeping the clock activated long enough to flush out all the items. Now just to show you this working, I'm going to go ahead and drop 4 oak planks on the floor over here, and while we're filling in the flooring, we should eventually see those pop up. Also, do not forget, go ahead and add some normal torches down here, just to make sure that your redstone is lit up and you're not going to have any monsters spawning down there. And then on the other side here, you can go ahead and add some chorus dirt just to gradually go into the sniffer pen if you want. You don't have to. And then I'm going to go ahead and clear out my hotbar. Now before we go ahead and get to the interior, I would like to see these 4 oak planks appear. Do note there is a lot of redstone track. I don't know why I called it redstone track, just rails over there. Oh, so it did take a little while, but as you see, all 4 oak planks have just popped up. So it will flush out completely. And if we were to drop down here and check, not one of these droppers is going to have an item in it. Now we can move on to furnishing the interior. Alright, so when it comes to doing the interior here, it is actually not all that complicated, it's just that there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So let's go ahead and start with just putting up a simple little wall to break up the space, leaving a spot right here where a spruce door will end up going, but don't bother placing that because we have redstone to do that will be going under that wall in that location. Then we can grab out 2 item frames and put them here. Do not fill in these 2, actually put some bricks there and put a floor block here. That is because you will have an armor stand going here, which you can put your favorite armor on. In these item frames, I have a brush and a crossbow, just kind of make it look like they're hanging from the wall. And then instead of blocks there on that wall, what I have done is I got out some bookshelves, just like this, using a mixture of normal ones and the chiseled ones, and then just filling in the chiseled ones with a few books, adding a nice bit of detail to the environment. And then finally, I took out some plain spruce signs and just had them covering this top area just to fill the space and bring it to life a bit. Let's also not forget to put on a roof or ceiling. Don't worry, this is not the roof you're seeing from the outside because, as you saw in the intro, we are going to be adding a deep slate roof here, but we're not doing that quite yet because it will make doing this redstone easier. Alright, now that we have done that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these items here. Now we can go ahead and grab out a cauldron. We'll put that here, fill it with water, add a tripwire hook for a nice little sink. Go ahead and get rid of those items. After that, there is a barrel. This is where the seeds will be popping in. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to chuck 4 oak planks on the ground, and we should see those appear in that barrel pretty soon. Next to the barrel, I'm adding a chest. You could do a double chest if you want, but I'm doing 2 separate things to break it up so that your seeds go in here and you can have separate storage here. Or you could do 2 barrels. It's whatever you want. After that, I'm grabbing a beehive and I'm putting 2 sea pickles on there just to add a little bit of detail, and then a crafting table with a lantern on it in the corner for light. Now we're going to go ahead and put a flower pot on the floor with a cornflower in it. Then I have a decorated pot covered in the Sniffer pottery shard because I thought it fit the theme of this build pretty well. On top of that, I'm putting a flower pot with a azalea bush and then some azalea leaves above it. Going ahead and removing all these items from my inventory, we can go ahead and grab out the next and final few. In this spot, we have a beehive with a brewing stand on it, and then here, we're going to knock out this floor, put 2 blocks there, 2 campfires on that, 2 furnaces, and then here in the ceiling, we're going to do stone bricks, just to kind of make it look like a hood. And I have to use slabs to actually make these work. So remove those 2 blocks of the ceiling and then put 2 slabs, 2 more slabs, and then finally, you guessed it, 2 more slabs. And once you have done that, you will have a nicely completed interior. And then of course, go ahead and put your favorite suit of armor onto the armor stand for display. Alright, now to finish out the build before we add on the roof, okay, I know you all really want to see the roof, but we're not doing that quite yet. Before we get there, we need to go ahead and add the redstone that will be going in here. Making it day real quick. To do this, we're going to go ahead and remove these 10 pieces of flooring. I know, kind of redundant. Why did you have us add it in the first place then? Because I did, okay? Now what we're going to do is here, we're going to remove some blocks to put in a observer facing upwards. We're going to put a spruce door on that and make sure we leave it closed because we don't want to mess with the redstone. Then we're going to go ahead and just remove these blocks here like so. And then we'll dig up so that we can get back down here once we are back in this area. That's why I left this open so that we can come around the back, because we're not going to be wanting to open this door while working on it. That's going to keep setting it off and messing it up. So right under here, we're going to add a redstone, or not a redstone, a solid block with redstone dust above it. Then we're going to grab out our droppers and hoppers. These cannot be dispensers. It will mess up if they are dispensers. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have a hopper going this way. we're going to do a dropper facing upward, a dropper facing sideways, and then a dropper facing downwards. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that torch back. So what you should have is something that looks like this. An easy way to see if this works is going to be coming around the back. We will actually have a comparator coming out here. So not only will this test if it works, but you're going to be doing this anyway. Go ahead and grab a random item, which you're going to be keeping in there, and open the door. When you open the door, you should see that comparator turn on, and when you close the door, the comparator should turn back off. If that happens, then you've done it right and it works. Then I'm going to place a torch down here just to keep this area nice and bright. Now I'm going to have that comparator go into a solid block with a redstone torch above it, a solid block above that redstone torch, and another redstone torch on top of that. Then I'm going to put a block there with a redstone repeater on one tick right here. Have that going into a little setup like this. It's pretty much another clock, just like we made earlier. Redstone dust there, a torch there, and a repeater going this way on 4 ticks. Make sure this stays on 1 tick. Now, normally this should be powered, so actually move that item from there down to here to make sure that it's off when the door is closed. When you open it, the timer should start clicking, and when you close it, the timer should stop. Okay? Ready for the next step? Yeah? Okay. Next up, I am using some smooth stone slabs, and we're going to go ahead and need some water for our farmland, and I found it easiest just to put this water inside of a stair of any sort. I'm just going to use oak. What we're going to do is right here, we're going to add that slab. We're going to have our water right here, just like this, and then we're going to have a slab on the other side. Do not forget your farmland. You're going to need that farmland. Grab your farmland, you can place it in right here, and then put in your water. The water should not go anywhere, and that will be hydrating your farmland. Then you can get rid of the water, the slabs, the stairs, the farmland. You should be able to get rid of the hopper as well, because we will not be needing those. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost done. Go ahead and grab your dispensers now, not your dropper. You can get rid of droppers. You're not going to need any more of those. Dispensers, you're going to have 2 on either side, just like this. And these are going to be what's actually bone mealing your plants. We're also going to grab some sticky pistons, put 1 there, and then put a fence gate in front of it, just like so. This is going to be what's breaking the plants once they are bone mealed. Now to power these, we're going to have to run redstone to them somehow. To do this, we're going to put a solid block here and 2 here. Putting redstone dust on top of these 3 blocks like so, and these 2. Now we're going to grab some observers. We're going to have 1 facing this way. This might be a little tricky to do, so put a solid block here temporarily. Place an observer facing into it. Now you can remove that, put a solid block there temporarily, and put an observer facing into it, and remove that. Now, if you put a sticky piston on top of that redstone torch, it will extend, and when you open this door, it should pull that down, activating this timer, which is going to be moving the fence gate, and then this observer clock, which is going to be bone mealing your plants. And if you close the door, the timer shuts down, the piston extends, turning off the observer clock. And that is it. You are now done with the redstone portion here. You can grab your 10 pieces of flooring, fill in that area, and then, of course, grab some normal torches just to make sure that it is nice and bright in here. Again, you don't want monsters spawning. You can go ahead and empty out your inventory now. Grab your bone meal. You will need a full inventory's worth to fill all of these dispensers, and we can just go ahead and fill all 4 dispensers real quick. That's 1, 2, this is 3, and then finally number 4. Once that is done, you do not have to worry about adding a ceiling to this part of the build at all. That is of no one's concern. It is not necessary whatsoever. Now for the final little step. Now we're going to actually add on the roof. So what we're going to do is grab our cobbled deep slate slabs. Make sure that you have some spruce trapdoors, a block of brick, and a campfire. We're going to go ahead and take our cobbled deep slate slabs all the way across on this side and this side, just like so. Then we're going to do the same thing here, going up by one. And again, same thing on the opposite side. The roof is incredibly basic. It's easier to add it on last so that you can get in and out of this redstone section really easy. And then what we're going to do is just cover up this top area. Really nice and simple, actually. It's really, really basic, nothing too intense. Now, before you go ahead and fully cover it, if you come out by 3 on this side here, we can go ahead and leave this block open right here. So you have 1, 2, and 3. And if you're looking at this from the front, like dead on, this would be on the left side of those central 3 blocks. I'm going to go ahead and place some brick blocks in there like so. You could not put one there if you want. It's not needed. But I'm going to put one there just for the sanity of my mind. You're going to go ahead and put a campfire in the middle and then surround it by spruce trapdoors. And once you have that last trapdoor on there and flicked up, go ahead, get the rest of those materials out of your inventory because they are no longer needed. That is it. Your build is officially finished. And earlier we put some items down over here. If we check this barrel, boom, 4 oak planks are now in the barrel. Now it is time for you to go ahead and hatch your sniffers. Now you can go ahead and place some normal sniffer eggs like this if you want. Of course, if you're in survival, that's probably how you're going to be doing it. But do keep in mind, if you're in survival, be sure to block this up. I don't know how you're going to do that. Maybe you temporarily remove these and do normal doors. Or maybe you can just leave them like this. That might be enough to cover it. But you got to make sure that the baby sniffers cannot escape because they will just walk straight through there. Anyway, you can go ahead and fill it up with sniffers. I'd like to have 5 in here. I think it's a pretty balanced number. Granted, 5 alone is not going to get you very many seeds, but these guys work so slow. It's like 1 seed every 10 minutes anyway. So even if you had like 20, you're still not going to be getting all that many in all actuality. Setting it back to daytime here, just to show you that the redstone does work. We've already established that this system here works. But let's go ahead and grab out some torch flower seeds. Just like we did earlier, we're not going to do 16, we'll just do 8. And then we'll grab out our pitcher pods. Again, we'll only do 8 here. Go ahead and do /game mode S, and we will prove to you that it's working. And just so you see here, these guys are attracted to these seeds. They will not be able to fit through here. These two are butting heads right now, but if I were to go ahead and separate them and just get one to come through here, you will see they are not going to actually fit. Alright, there you go. That's the one. Come on, buddy. Prove to my viewers that you're too big. Alright, well, again, he's being headbutted, but you get the point. It's going to be very hard for them to get through here. Even though they don't technically fit through here, it appears very difficult for just one of them to get past the hay bales and the cauldron anyway. But as you open the door, the whole system starts going. Hold down on this corner of the block, and it will go ahead, place your items, of course, automatically bone meal them on up, and then break it and put it in your inventory. Exact same thing with the pitcher's pod. And voila, there you go. You now have a fully functional automatic sniffer farm. And now, I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, it's not fully automatic, Mr. Game and Aquatic. And to that, yeah, I know it's not fully automatic, but it's pretty much as automatic as you're going to be able to get. You can automatically get the seeds, they are automatically collected and stored for you, and from there, all you have to do is actually hold down the place button in this machine. Most sniffer farms don't even go that in depth, it's just a cube with sniffers in it and a hopper minecart below. So, for going as in depth as I did, even though it's not as much as some might hope when you say the words automatic, you're welcome, because realistically, there is no way to make a fully automatic sniffer farm. I've seen some people try and do it with villagers in Java, and I've tried that in Bedrock, and it just does not work in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So, if you do really love this build as much as I do, and plan to build it in your own Minecraft world, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, tomorrow will be day 6 of our December Advent calendar, so maybe you should subscribe and check back in tomorrow to see what that tutorial is. Anyways, this has been Mr. Gaming Aquatic, and I'll see you next time. Peace!